Hello and welcome to Real Issue on TNTV. Today we'll be talking about women. We'll be looking at women and the just concluded International Women's Day celebration that happened on Wednesday this week. And with me in the studio, I have a guest who will be introducing herself to us. And together we're talking about this. We'll look deep into it and the position of women in our society in every sphere of life. Thank you very much, madam, for coming to our studio.
Thank you so much.
All right. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Okay, my name is Mrs. Ada Usipo. I'm the principal consultant of Nebula Global Scope Limited. It's a Port Harcourt-based multidisciplinary firm, and I'm basically into human resource consulting, business advisory. I'm also an entrepreneur, where I deal in distributorship of fast-moving consumer goods. I'm also a independent presenter as well. I'm also an independent presenter on radio.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I learned you run an NGO, or you're into a non-governmental organization.
Well, no, I don't. What I basically do is that I'm heavily invested in helping the youth. So what my organization, part of what my organization does is our corporate social responsibility. It's focused on helping youths, and basically what I've done on radio for some time now is to hold programs that focus on career talks, career issues that can help young people advance their career, get jobs, and set up businesses. I also go to churches to lecture for free, to teach youths and women how to empower themselves as regards their career and business. So it's basically my company's corporate social responsibility. I'm not an NGO.
Okay. Yeah. This what you do is not just for the ladies, the youth you talk about.
The youth, both male and
everybody.
Female. Yes.
Okay. Wednesday this week was International Women's Day.
Yes.
What's your thought about it? What's the significance of that day?
Well, it's a good day to celebrate women and to showcase women in general, how far women have gone, basically in our different fields, what needs to be done to help empower women, because we all know that when you educate a woman, you've educated the nation. When you empower a woman, you've empowered the nation. And the world all over, including Nigeria, many women need to be empowered. Many women need to earn a living, at least reasonable amount of money as regards their trade or profession in order to take care of the family. So Women's Day is basically to showcase, to celebrate women, to talk about how far we've gone from where we used to be in the past and what needs to be done in future.
Okay. So how far have they gone?
Well, I'll say there's been quite some progress among women in general. Like there's always been this saying that most women should be seen, not heard. Right now we have a lot of women in enviable positions, be it in the corporate world, be it in the media, even in governments. There are women who are presidents of countries. There are women who are industry leaders. And I also need to encourage I also need to give the male folks a pat in the back, because it even seems to me, to an extent, that the males in our society are even more passionate about empowering women, which I need to give the male folks a lot of kudos. I wish more women in position will also do more to empower women themselves. So it's a good thing where I see men trying to encourage women. There are many men who try to encourage their wives to do well in business, to do well in their career. There are still some that don't, but to a large extent there's been a large amount of improvement.
Okay, I just want to ask, is there any world body of women, like an organization that is known worldwide, globally, that's just meant for women?
Well, there are some NGOs that focuses on women. Even the United Nations has some parastatals that has a particular arm that focuses on empowering women. From top of my head, I can't think of anyone right now, but in Nigeria we have different associations like NECA's Network of Entrepreneurial Women. It's a body that focuses on women in business, bringing them together so that they can at least work together. The organization has cooperatives, it even has the first microfinance bank in West Africa, basically owned by women. And the full meaning of NECA is actually Nigeria's Employers Consultative Association. It's the apex body for all business people in Nigeria, for all companies, whether you are a shell, a mobile, or a one-man business. It's advisable you are part of NECA. NECA is like the NLC for employers. Like I have an NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, for workers. NECA is for employers of labor. And NECA also has an arm for women to empower businesses owned by women. There's also WIMBIS. WIMBIS is also an association in Nigeria as well that also focuses on empowering women. There are different associations internationally that focuses on empowering women as well.
Okay, I asked this question because I would like us to talk globally. Let's look at women, not just in Nigeria, but outside Nigeria too. There are still some countries where women are still looked down upon. Unlike Nigeria, Nigerian women are getting up, they are standing up to their male counterparts. But there are some parts of the world where women can't even do anything. So that's why I asked, is there any organization that can look into this thing and make sure that these women are also liberated to act like their male counterparts in those countries?
Well, CNN as a news organization has a lot of interest in helping women, and also like I think CNN has the project they call CNN Heroes, where they showcase both male and females who are striving in their different fields. And basically what associations like them, not only the United Nations, big organizations like CNN, even World Health Organization also looks at helping women as well. Like we all hear about female genital mutilation. World Health Organization focuses on that as well, also tries to help women in different parts of the world who are suffering from things like that. There are some countries, like you rightly said, that they still need to do a lot of work in helping women. Some of these countries are also in Africa. Some are in the Middle East, some Muslim countries. Like in Saudi Arabia, it's illegal for women to drive. Though there are some women that stubbornly drive, and when they get caught, they are punished for it. So there are some countries like that. But to a large extent, there's been some improvement. Like not too long in Saudi Arabia, I think there was a lady who was elected to be into a government position. I'm not too sure about the particular position now, but she was elected. She was the first woman to actually hold a government position in Saudi Arabia. So I believe the world is opening up gradually. There's still a long way to go, but we're not where we used to be in the past, but definitely things are getting better.
Okay. Yeah. All over the world, women are very much outspoken. They always want to be heard in the media. Wherever they go, they always want to be heard. They always cite this, that men are always trying to take over everywhere they find themselves. Do you think women are always intimidated in the society? That's why they're bringing up so many organizations to fight for their rights.
I would say culturally, there are some cultures and some religions that do not encourage women to be outspoken. And growing up as a lady, like I grew up in a family where I was the only girl. I have 5 brothers, so I was more sheltered compared to my brothers. I was always made to understand you're not supposed to be too loud, you're not supposed to be too vocal like your brothers, things like that. And many women are brought up this way, regardless of the culture, regardless of the country. There are women in America, they will even tell you that they were more sheltered compared to their brothers. They were told, don't be too loud, a lady should do like this, a lady should do like that. But why, I would say why things are gradually changing to a large extent is that, talking from the corporate angle, the corporate world is designed in such a way that it's masculine. The corporate world is masculine, whether we like it or not. They say it's a man's world, and that's the truth. So in order to strive in business, there are some certain mannerisms and characteristics that if you're a woman who is hidden, who should not be heard, who should not speak, you may not climb very far in the corporate ladder. Like in an association, for example, when decisions need to be taken, you need to come up with suggestions. You need to be confident. You need to speak when is the right time to speak. But if you have this timid type of personality that unfortunately we were brought up with, most women were brought up with as kids when growing up, you may not strive well in the business world. But there are some women that take it overboard, that when they are in the corporate world, they decide to behave like men. So it has to be a good balance. So as a woman in the corporate world, you have to be able to balance your feminine side with the corporate side, which is basically masculine, whether we like it or not. Basically masculine. That's why in the corporate world there are more men than women. In government there are more men than women, because these structures were designed in such a way that I won't say it's deliberate, but that's just the world we're in. Men right from time have always been in power. They've always been leaders, both in the home and the society. So the structure of different things, whether it's in the corporate world or in government, was designed in such a way that it fits the characteristics of the male folks. So as a woman, you have to learn that.
Okay.
There's a particular book called Good Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. It's written by a lady called Dr. Lewis. And basically what she mentioned in that book is basically what I'm telling you, that many women don't do as well as their male folks in the corporate world or in government, because they still have this timid behavior. Now, a good example is, for example, in a corporate environment where there's a meeting between an MD and his different managers and employees. You will notice in that meeting, the people that will be talking more at that meeting, asking questions, will be men, even though there will be women.
Yeah.
That's because psychologically or unconsciously, women have been programmed to keep quiet. There may be a woman in that gathering that has an idea, but you would notice that instead of that woman to speak, in most cases, not in all cases, that woman may whisper to the man beside her, ask Oga this question, that question. Then the man will be the one to ask the questions. All the women will be quiet. That's because unconsciously they are programmed to think we should keep quiet, we should be seen and should not be heard. But things are gradually changing. Some women are speaking up, some women are becoming more confident, and like I said, there's a general saying that when a man is doing well, there's a good woman behind him. Also, when a woman is doing well, there's a very supportive man behind her. So that's why I said I also need to commend men for supporting the women in their lives to do well in their different trades or professions.
Okay, culturally in Nigeria, like you rightly said, the women are always brought up to be calm, like you said. But apart from that, there's no legislation anywhere around the world, let's say in Nigeria, that stops the women from, aspiring for any office, aspiring to become whatever they want to. Why is it so difficult? Why is it taking this long for women to do whatever they want to do? If you, like somebody of my age, if I attend some organization gatherings, let's say for the youth, you hardly find a lady there. You see like 50 men to 5 ladies, and we're youth, and they know that the world is changing. Why is it so difficult for the women to be incorporated into this society?
Okay, like you rightly said, there's no law preventing women to aspire for different positions in the country, but it will take some time, because like I said, women generally are brought up to be quiet, to be calm, to be seen, not to be heard. So it will take some time to change that mentality for them to be more confident, to be more involved in different associations. Like you said, the association you mentioned, it will take them some time to come out from their shell. Naturally, I would say naturally, women are shy compared to men. So apart from the cultural upbringing or the societal upbringing that women should be seen and not heard, naturally women are more calmer and shy compared to men. Men are more aggressive, men are more in your face, let me put it that way, than women. So women need to be more encouraged. They need more encouragement. They need to be made more comfortable. I don't want to say you need to pet and pamper them, but they need to be encouraged to come out of their shell, to be part of such associations or such programs like what you've mentioned. So that's why there are different bodies, like I said, the association like New, I mentioned, Winbeats, even media houses like CNN, the World Health Organizations, different organizations. They have different chapters that focus on women, because they've seen generally that women need more encouragement to come out from their shell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over the years, there have been agitations for gender equality, women's rights, and feminism. Can you connect the dot between Women's Day that we just celebrated, feminism, and gender equality?
I'll say it's due to the feminist movement that brought about the recognition of Women's Day. Feminism is all about ensuring that there are equal rights for both men and women. That's basically what feminism is all about. It's not about women being more special than men. So over the years, several women have found it necessary that women should be empowered, because there was a time in the past, even in the US, that I would like to use as a case study most time. In the early 20th century, women were not allowed to vote.
In the US?
In the US, women were not allowed to vote. It had to take some women to come out vocally and oppose that law, and it was due to their feminist movement that puts pressure in the government at that time to ensure that women were allowed to vote. So over the years, the feminist movement has done a lot of good works in trying to showcase the needs of women, the importance of women in society, and to discourage that notion that women do not add positively to society. Because there was a time in the past, even if you look at your Bible, you see that in the Old Testament, you see that women were not really in leadership positions like that. If you compare the number of prophets that were men and women, the women were few. I think it's just maybe like one that may just come to our head, Deborah. So there were very few people in the past, whether it's in the religious angle, that had women in leadership position. So I'll say the feminist movement has made it important that the world has now recognized the need for women to be empowered in society, and one of the good fruits of that movement is the celebration of the Women's Day.
Okay, let's look at the African setting.
Okay.
In an African home, do you believe there are gender-specific roles in the family, in a home? Are there gender-specific roles?
Well, in our culture, I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say yes, but that does not mean that the man and the woman cannot swap some certain roles to help each other out. While I would say yes, in our culture, generally, whether you are from the southern part of Nigeria or whatever part, even the world all over, when you think about who prepares the meals in the family, your mind goes straight to the woman.
Yes.
When you think about the breadwinner of the family, who provides for the family, automatically your mind goes to the man. When you think about who brings up the children, who caters for the children's needs emotionally and has a closer bond with the children, your mind goes to the woman. So I would say naturally there are some gender specific roles for men and women in the family. But like I said, the world is changing gradually. You have men who sometimes, maybe if their wife is working and the wife is not yet back from work, some men actually enter the kitchen and cook. That doesn't make them less of a man. It doesn't make them less of men. They've seen that it's a partnership. Marriage is a partnership. So if the wife is not available to prepare the meals and probably the children need to eat, some men take it on themselves to provide the meals for the family. They cook. Some men cook. Even there are some men that are better cooks than their wives. The way the world is also changing, the economic situation is becoming tougher. So there's a need for women to also provide. There are some women who also provide for the home. Some women earn more than their husbands. That doesn't make them the head of the family, because we all know naturally the man is the head of the family, but it makes the woman a helpmate, a partner. So naturally, yes, there are roles, but due to conditions in the society and mainly economic situation, the gender roles may swap a bit to ensure that the home remains steady and firm.
Okay.
Yeah.
As the world is changing, let's look at it. What's the right way, the perfect way for a family? Should there still be gender-specific roles in the family, even as the world is changing? Let's change it from the way it was, the way we know it as. Let's change it and make it fit into this changing world. Are there still some things like that?
Well, my mindset is such that when something is okay, when something is not broken, why fix it? That's what mindset I have. And I would like to say that it's good, personally, for me. I would not want to change the natural gender-specific roles in the family. I prefer, like I mentioned earlier, the man and the woman can swap roles to help each other. When you start trying to change things, like some women, maybe few women may have the mindset of saying, why is the man the head of the family? I too want to be the head of the family. When you start pushing for certain things like that, you just bring unnecessary friction in the family. You bring unnecessary friction, you bring unnecessary conflict. There's no need for that. If the man is the head of the family, that doesn't mean the woman is not the head of the kitchen. If the man is the head of the family, that doesn't mean the woman is not the neck that turns the head. So the neck that turns the head is just as important as the head in the body. So I don't think there's any need trying to outdo the other or remove the other from the position and say the woman should be the head, not the man. Though there are some homes that the woman is the head. Maybe when the man is late. When a woman is a widow and she has got kids, she's the head of the family in such a situation. You have single parents. Maybe there's a divorce, or probably there are kids, but there's no marriage and there's no man there. The woman is the head of the family. So there are some certain families that the women are the head, but naturally and religious based, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, even some traditional religions, these different religions they recognize the role of the man as the head of the family. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Recently on social media, different social media platforms, there was this issue trending, wife not cook.
Wife not cook.
Yes, it was trending all over social media.
Okay.
What do you have to say about that?
Okay, I think I'm not too sure of that. I think, was it this situation where a certain pastor mentioned that your wife must know how to cook? Is that what you're talking about?
This one, that one you're talking about happened long before now.
Okay.
This one's just recent, I think like a week or two ago.
Okay, honestly, I'm not aware of it. The one I'm aware of is the one of the pastor saying your wife must know how to cook. So can you, what is the wife not cook about?
I think a feminist actually started it.
Okay,
that it's not the position of the wife to cook for the family.
Okay.
So I think that's how the thing started. And it was trending all over. I think thousands of tweets about it.
Well, like I said, I don't have a problem personally, and I think many women too don't have a problem cooking for the family.
Yes.
I don't have a problem cooking for my family. Probably where there may be a little difficulties, maybe as a businesswoman and as a professional, maybe there may be times I may come home a bit late, so I may need some help. So if my husband can help at that time, fine. That's why marriage is a partnership, like I said. But I don't mind performing that major role of cooking for my family. But when I'm unable to maybe be around to warm the food or dish out the food, if my husband is there to help, fine. If I'm blessed to have a house help that can perform that role when I'm not around, fine. Because you know, as women running a family, having a career, you need all the help you can get. You can't be a successful woman in the home and in your career without having the support or help of your husband and other family members, and maybe external members like house helps that are good. You've got bad house helps, but you've also got good house helps. So any successful woman, you're not just successful at your own rights based on your own merit. You're successful based on your merit and also the help of people around you, especially your partner. So I don't think I'm in support of that trend, of the trending tweet.
Yes.
That she said wife not cook. I'm not in support of that.
I want to
Yeah.
I want to ask you more questions about this issue of feminism, because I believe so many people, it's a very hot topic on social media everywhere you go. So many people talking about feminism and feminists in general. Do you believe totally with the idea of feminism? You know, there are some parts of it that it's very much welcome, like trying to aspire to the same position as a man, doing everything, like, because we are all human and we have every right to do whatever we want to do as our fellow opposite gender. Do you agree totally with the idea of feminism?
Well, I'll say to an extent it depends on what they are pushing for. There are some certain things in feminism that I agree with. One, every woman has the right to education. I agree with that. The second one, I agree with the fight against female genital mutilation. I agree with that. I also agree with the feminist movement on ensuring that women are empowered to take up political positions. I'm in support of that. I'm also in support of feminism in pushing for women to aspire, for women to vote, women to be more included in voting. I'm in support of that. I'm also in support of the feminist movement that women should have access to good health, access to funds, in order to empower themselves to set up businesses. I'm in support of that. I'm not in support of the feminist movement that says that or has the notion that the woman should take over the position of being the head of the family. I feel there's no point. I'm not in support of the feminist movement that says that women should not cook. I'm not in support of that.
Okay.
Women can cook, men can cook.
Yes.
I feel it's a partnership. So when they become too extreme or almost militant in their feminist movement, I'm not in support of those things. But the natural, common sense things I've mentioned, good health for women, women should drive, like them pushing in Saudi Arabia, like some feminist movement, they are pushing that Saudi Arabia should allow women to drive. I'm in support of that. So things like that, I'm in support of that. But things like woman don't cook, woman head of the home, I feel there's no point.
Okay, just before we round up, what's your last word to your fellow women and the little ones growing up?
Okay, I would say there's nothing wrong in, as a woman, to dream, and there's nothing wrong as a woman to work hard, to aspire to do great things. Be confident. I know that maybe psychologically or culturally you may be made to think that there are certain things you can't do. Try and have role models as women. You may not know them personally, but there are many women we see on our TV screens doing great things. If they can do it, you too can do it. So believe in yourself and work hard.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Ada Usifo, for coming. Really appreciate your presence here in the studio. Thank you, viewers, for coming. You've also heard from my guest. She agrees with everything about feminism, but she doesn't agree to the fact that women should struggle with their husbands in the family to take over leadership position in the family. Thank you, and stay tuned to TNTV as we bring you our live news at 4 o'clock. Goodbye.